Just been jumping in left, right, and center into the Play Life Rule Breaker Society. Caitlin, hello, and I'm so freaking excited. We have our first live training in the Play Life Rule Breaker Society happening tomorrow. Tomorrow. So now would be the very best time to join thekatrinaruthshow.com/Play Life Society. This is 6-week business building, except we're not building anything. We are going in. We are looking through that lens where you know that you've got that supernatural stuff, that supernatural flow, that supernatural tapped inness that just cannot be copied, hacked, understood, or put into a neat, nice little step-by-step marketing formula. And so we're going to finally admit that you cannot stand that stuff. You don't want to do it. It makes you want to claw your eyeballs out. It doesn't mean that you don't love marketing. It's just the idea of what people think that they need to do. It is just so out. Vic, welcome. Just joined. I've been letting people in all day, and I'm just honestly so freaking jazzed for the first live training, which is tomorrow. And after I get off this live, I'm writing up a little something for the society as well. So that is at thekatrinaruthshow.com/Play Life Society. This is my all new 6-week live course. We just began. The doors are going to close on Thursday, Eastern time, later on in the day on Thursday. So we're really coming into those final day or so to join. Don't miss out. It is an absolute heck yes, no-brainer offer from a price perspective. I just always go with what I flow with, and I'm all in on this, baby, because I'm currently going through a transition period in my business. You know, that's what we do as entrepreneurs. We need to just keep moving, evolving, shifting, and we need to be willing to admit when stuff needs stripping off. And I would say go through a pretty decent transition or evolution or kind of like rebirth in the business, any business, any different thing that I'm doing, probably once a year, and in smaller ways, maybe more than once a year, but every several years, cyclically, there's this like complete big recreation and going into a place that I've never even known or seen before. And I would say that what's happening right now in my business, in my life, is that, but on a level I've literally never known before. We are talking supernatural, crazy, so much yes. And so what's cool about the Play Life Society and joining me live now in this new 6-week course is that I am literally going through this with you, and I've done it many times before, and I've mentored the best of the best for years to do whatever their version of that is along the way. And so you get to see behind the scenes as I'm doing it, and it's just raw, it's real. I do this kind of unapologetic, all in on ripping stuff up business type course, usually once a year. I would say around once a year I have a new one come out. Obviously you can buy them home, study afterwards, but this is live, baby, and it's happening now. So just do whatever it takes to get in this course, and it is a low cost, heck yes, no brainer price point as well for the full 6 weeks with me. thekatrinaruthshow.com/Play Life Society. Now let's talk about something that's been on my mind today. And if you read my blog today, you might get a little insight into this. If you didn't read the blog today, don't miss out on that blog. It was just a good old fashioned punch you in the face, the way I know you like it sort of a situation. I actually went, oh man, I slept in so late this morning. You guys, I was up at 1 a.m. yesterday in the flow. I don't know what's happening. That's what was happening. That was a God thing. And so then this morning I slept in a little bit. And so by the time I had my quiet time, my God time, sat in the garden, had some sun, and then went down to the gym, it was a bit later in the morning, and I thought I'll just pull out my laptop and sit in the nice little area. There's like a water feature area at the shopping mall where one of the gyms I go to is, and I'll just sit there and write for a minute. Well, I don't know, a few hours later I emerged from the flow, just sitting. I just love a new different vibe. And I wrote this blog, which is on all my pages. It's on my IG and it's on my Facebook, and it's about that the whole entire thing is really just following a game of breadcrumbs. You can see it easily. It's a photo of me with a laptop. There you go find it, read that blog. Follow breadcrumbs, build an empire. It's actually follow breadcrumbs, reveal an empire. And now in this conversation, I want to talk about something that's one segment of that blog that's so important for you to understand, which is that big, serious business, whatever that means to you. You know, like the idea of the really real business. I want you to think about what is the really real business that you imagine yourself one day having, like the next level thing that's, I guess, like properly serious or properly professional or properly next level. Or maybe you think about the fact that you're here to mentor people at a particularly high level, like that true, I knew long before I started doing it and long before I had any of the online, I guess, credentials or standing or anything like that. I just knew that I was meant to mentor the true 1% within the 1%. out there in the entrepreneur space. And I mean those who are just not going to conform to ideas of how it should be or it has to be, or how an industry or a niche or just women in general or any kind of group of humans in general say it has to be. But those who just are so here to come from purpose and from digging into what's inside of them and just letting it out on their terms. And they just play a big game naturally in who they are. And I just knew long before there was any reason for me to, in a physical sense, think that I had any of the wherewithal to do this, that I meant to mentor those sort of people. And then that's what ultimately started happening. But it didn't happen once I got my business or my brand to some kind of fancy pants point. It happened when I decided that it was time now. And I literally just decided, sitting by the pool one day at my hotel at the time in West Hollywood, the Mondrian, I believe it was the Mondrian. I literally decided I'm just going to put this out there, like energetically first and foremost, and then there was a practical follow-on, that this is who I am now. And I'm going to never mind the fact that there's all these different parts of my business or who I am as a person or how I felt that I presented myself that were just not like polished or proper or fancy enough. So I want you to think about, what is it that you think you would be doing in your business if or when you got to the point where you really had it together, right? That's what we're talking about here. What is it that you think would happen? Who do you think you would meet? Who do you think you would connect to? What stages do you think you should be on? What big, wonderful, amazing projects or creative endeavors do you think you should be bringing to the world? What is the, not status so much, but what is the standing? What is the way you would be known? What are the rooms you would be in? What do you have up on some kind of pedestal of when I really get myself together, or when I don't know, improve this part of my business or my website or my systems, or when I change my body in this way, or when I have this area together, or when I go, whatever it is. What do you think you're going to be doing that right now you're telling yourself is out of reach? Because I'm going to tell you something right now that somebody here needs to hear, and you can let me know if it's you. This is reality in 2023, and it's not new reality as of this year, but I think, and I notice, and I've been in business for years, decades, and online business for nearly 2 decades, but business prior to that, for how long? I don't know, nearly a decade before that. I don't know. It is what it is. And then some form of entrepreneurial endeavor actually since I was 3 years old. So it's been 4 decades all up, but nearly 2 decades online. And I'll tell you that with each year that passes, I say this is more and more true. It's the opposite of what you think. It's more and more true that it needs to be rough, real, ready, raw, just what it is. It is more and more true, I see, with every single year that passes, that people just don't have time or interest in anything that's presenting any sort of facade or any sort of proper making or any sort of polish. Now, I don't mean don't make an effort. I make an effort. I had this painting custom painted as a live stream background for my office here at home, my downstairs study at home. I have my amazing bookcases there as well, which are also it's nice to have a nice background. I have an entire vibey warehouse, which is my office, about 10-15 minute drive from here, where I do a lot of my videos. I like things to look on brand for me. I am definitely going to make some sort of an effort with my physical appearance, mainly because I just go to the gym and that's what I do, and throw some stuff around. But what I mean is, I'm not saying don't make whatever effort you want to make in your appearance, in whether it's your literal physical appearance or the appearance of your business stuff, your branding, your colors, whatever, right? Do whatever makes you happy. That's the point though, isn't it? The point is, what's vibing for you, right? Not what do you think you need to do for anyone else. And in particular, never mind how you look or what's freaking behind you. In particular, drop anything that would not be there if you had just forgotten or never even knew that there was an idea of what serious business takes. I mentor and have mentored for just under 10 years, in this specific capacity of mentoring. I've done mentoring coaching for many years before that, well over 20. But for the last 10 years or so in the online space specifically, I've been mentoring just the most amazing, best of the best, true 1% within the 1% leaders, entrepreneurs, creators, etc., who really, in a lot of cases, are extremely well-known / famous in their industry or niche, who make huge amounts of money, who truly do live the life that they want to live, and have got it all together. And some of those people have what you would visually see as a very polished, pretty, perfect brand. Let me tell you right now that anyone that I've mentored or anyone that's come through this space of learning how to actually make millions of dollars truly by following purpose and being who they're meant to be, and that money was just always meant to be there in the vision of them being them, FYI, hands up, or just some sort of yes in your soul right now. If you know that that's you, that's just meant to be there. Anyone who's actually got an appearance of it's all kind of like beautifully arranged or proper or serious business or whatever you want to call it, if they've come through my style and they've mentored with me, which many of them have, then that is truly who they are. That's why it's there in that particular case. Like, that's actually who they are in their personal life, in their life. It's an art thing for them. It's creative flow for them. They enjoy it. So never ever take that and go, oh, it means it has to be that proper or that serious, because that's 1% of people. Most people, the vast majority, like 80% plus, who are out there making huge money, either online, offline, or whatever, and it's from purpose, it's in alignment, it's in stewardship of what they're meant to be doing, and they're truly living their aligned life. Like, we're not talking they're out of whack with their values or something, they're actually in their flow. There is just not all the stuff that people who are, sorry, but like struggling for pennies and just not where they want to be think is required in order to play a big game in business. I don't know if the days even ever truly existed where you had to be properly professional, whatever that means, to play a big game in business. I suppose they did in some facet, or certainly in some industries, maybe more so than others. But it's true that with every year that passes, there's just less of an interest from anyone out there, or certainly anyone you'd want to be doing business with, in what's going on as far as the way it's all put together. Obviously, it needs to deliver a service, it needs to get a result into the hands of the people who are working with you, buying from you, etc. But this idea that serious business requires some sort of facade or proper making or professionalism that is not truly a flow for you, that's a made-up idea of what it means to be professional, it went out the window a long time ago, and I just see it dropping more and more each year. And yet, still, for some reason, in most marketing circles or in most business or entrepreneur circles, there's just, it's not even necessarily that it's being taught. It is being taught in some way, but it's more so that there's an assumption there that in order to go to that next level of income, impact, what have you, that it means you got to really get your shit together. Can I just tell you right now, as somebody who's mentored the most incredible entrepreneurs, mavericks, waymakers for years, like true freaking artistic geniuses who also just are the person who's meant to make that kind of money and impact the world in that kind of big way, and then they do, they don't have their shit together. They have whatever together that's a flow for them to have together. And that's it. And all the other bits that you supposedly have to have, they just basically opted out of that. They just transcended the idea that that was relevant for them. In fact, the most incredible, successful, like true aligned success humans who I know, which is a lot of cool humans that I know and that I encounter, they basically just decided at some point that they didn't care or that they weren't available for it. And it wasn't about being a diva, although it can feel that way in the short term. It wasn't about proving a point, although sometimes that's part of it in the short term, because it's kind of like summoning up your own, ability to back yourself and just like trust that you can do that. It was literally just a realization or a revelation at some point along the way that I don't actually care about that. I don't actually care about that. Now, I think pretty much anyone who watches my stuff or follows my stuff or reads my stuff already admitted to themselves at some point that they don't care about certain things to do with supposed business or marketing rules or requirements. But the difference is they still think on some level that they need to have to do that or improve that or sort that out or clean it up or get it together in that area. And that's why they don't have a business that's at such and such level, or that's why they can't hold their head up in certain rooms, or that's why they can't yet reach or mentor those sort of people, or make that kind of money, or whatever the thing is. Let me tell you straight up, whatever your dream is right now, like whatever you just know inside of you that it should be. So we're not talking some arbitrary dream, are we? We're talking what you know inside of you that it should be. Whatever you just know inside of you that it should be, like you should have those products out there in that way, to that capacity. You should be working with those kind of people. Your programs or offerings or whatever you're doing should flow in that way. Your money should be in that way. You should live in that kind of house, blah, blah, blah. We're not talking like for the sake of it, rah, trying to hype or trying to live some aspirational lifestyle that deep down you just want to be able to stop having to run to catch up with. Hello, I know who you are. I know, like, I don't necessarily individually know who you are, although in some cases, sure. Most people have done that, like including me, got caught up on the wrong kind of thing, like not wrong or bad, but more so like I don't even really give whatever, you know? The reality is that whatever it is that is actually your desire, whatever it is that you actually know it should be, whatever your actual dream is, whatever the actual rooms are that you see yourself in, meaning in your cool badass house, but I meant like rooms that you walk into or that you would speak into or that you would just like sit amongst those kind of people. Whatever it is that you've got up on that shelf where you're like, well, when I've got it together in that way, or when I really improve that thing or polish that thing or present myself to the world as what? An entrepreneur that can be taken seriously. Do you know who's taken seriously as an entrepreneur? It's not necessarily that they've got a big flashy studio or a big flashy brand or a big flashy team or a big flashy anything. They may or may not. Some do, some don't. So what? What do you want? What would it be if you were being all in on you? Because do you know who's taken seriously as an entrepreneur? The entrepreneur who takes themselves seriously and trusts that they're already the person. Boom, the end. That's who's taken seriously as an entrepreneur. The one who stops making it that I can't do that, say that, walk into that room, put myself out there that way, hold my head up that high, share or teach or preach that kind of a message because first I need to do A, B, and C thing over here that never, ever, ever was told to you in your spirit that you had to do. But you decided, just by being human, so it's okay, not yelling because I'm angry, I'm excited. You decided somewhere along the way, based on whatever you saw online, or maybe somebody directly told you and they should just leave. They should mosey on their way. Let them out. Kick them out if need be. Right? So maybe somebody told you, or you picked it up somewhere. You watch enough stuff, saw enough stuff, or you just freaking allow stuff perpetually into your feed that frankly shouldn't be there because you should be guarding your thoughts and not feeding stuff in that is not a yes within you. It's not a yes in your spirit. It's not lighting you on fire. It's actually depressing you, contracting you, shrinking you, and yet you're there going, oh, give me more, give me more, give me more. Tell me all the ways in which I should be somebody that I'm not so that I can start to be who I am. Right? The thing that will cause people to take you seriously as an entrepreneur, the thing that will facilitate you naturally, automatically walking into those kind of rooms, coaching those kind of people, holding space with those kind of, in those kind of situations, speaking on those kind of stages, facilitating those kind of groups or masterminds or retreats or society or whatever it is, having that kind of a fancy business, that's your fancy dream, yeah? The thing that will facilitate that is the fact that you woke up one day, which could be literal waking up on a spirit level right now in this moment as I'm talking to you, and you just, you know what you do? You just turn your head the other way from all of that stuff that has been telling you perpetually and you've been believing it, you've been eating it up like you're spoon-fed with it, that's saying that you can go and be who you really came here to be when you first tick off all of this stuff that really has nothing to do with you and that nobody actually told you on a spirit level, but you just accepted it somewhere in your head along the way and in your emotions. You can change that in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, it's literally just, I'm not interested anymore. It's literally just turn the other way. It's literally just stop looking at the thing that is telling you why you're not the thing and decide that you are the thing. Oh, okay, I see that I could have given the next 5 years to that stuff that I already gave the last 5 years to and give my time, energy, effort, emotion, money, finances, investment, whatever, to all this stuff that's basically facilitating an idea that I'm not the person yet. I could do that. Nice, interesting idea. Well, I already did that for a minute or maybe 5 years, so I'm probably done for now. Thanks very much. I'm just going to turn my head the other way. Oh, here over here, what do we have? We have a reality. We have a realm. We live in a realm. We live in a kingdom, actually, where we get to be who we came here to be, thank you, Jesus, right now, this very minute. And where we operate from a supernatural place, and we're just not concerned with what the world says it is supposed to be so that you can get there. Because that whole system, that kingdom, is based, firstly, in the short term, on giving every part of your life, your giftings, your callings, your energy, your focus, your emotion, your time, to something that you never actually had to do in order to be fully you. And that's the best case scenario of what that is based on. That is the best case scenario, because really what it therefore includes automatically is that you're giving up the things that are of value that should be getting your time, attention, energy, and focus You're living completely out of alignment, and you're bit by bit basically walking yourself into absolute death and destruction. And that's just a reality. And the fact is that we never needed to do all of that in order to be able to one day show up and be who we came here to be. You really need to stop looking at ideas that your engagement should be in a different way, your following should be in a different way, your website should be in a different way. You should, have a structure that, I don't even know what structure you think you should have for your Instagram or your social media. That if you were really serious, or that if you were really playing at a big level, or that if you were really, somebody that could be taken seriously, or that if you were really the kind of person that could coach those kind of people, or walk into those kind of rooms, or have a book out there like that, or have a show out there like that, or whatever the thing is that is your true dream, then you would have to do all of this stuff over there. It is a lie. It's 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 a lie. Stop listening to lies. How do you stop? By stopping. That's it. You don't stop by trying to untangle each lie, have a discussion about it, figure it out. Or you can have a discussion with the snake that rolls into the garden as to whether or not he should be there. You get him out. You turn away. You leave the garden. If it's not your garden. Is that a good analogy? That made no sense at all. Made a little bit of sense, right? You just don't. You just, no, okay. No, I see, I hear. No, actually, no thank you. Not for me. Not today. No. And no thanks. I'm not interested in explaining why, or excusing why, or having a conversation about whether or not maybe I do want to give my life for the wrong life. I just actually am just not interested. No thanks. I'm going to be over here in the place where I get to already be who I came here to be. You have to understand that serious business, in a very real sense, and I'm speaking from a place of having built serious business and having mentored the absolute just leaders, way makers, people that are making the huge money and doing the huge impact work and truly being of service as who they came here to be, and that I've mentored them for years now. You got to understand that the person who's taken seriously in business and who just walks into the rooms that she or he's meant to be in as though she owns them, whatever that means to you, is the person who decided to. The end. It's the person who took themselves seriously. It's the person who woke up one day, like right now in this minute, waking up in your spirit, and just went, yeah. And now I'm just her. That's it. That's really it. Now I'm just going to show up, talk about what I want, say what I want in my emails, write what I want in my posts, put the picture or the branding or the whatever thing up that feels vibey to me. I'm just not going to concern myself with all these intricacies and moving parts, because it is just exhausting to my soul. It's draining the life force right out of me. That's not because you need to summon up more willpower in order to work harder at being somebody who you're not. That's because it's not for you. It's not relevant to you. Might be relevant to someone else. They need to judge or critique that, because their flow is not your flow. Your flow is not their flow. We don't know what somebody else's flow is. So let's just trust that everyone knows what their own flow is. It's a reality that most people are not freaking living according to their own flow, though. That is a reality. But you have that choice. And the thing is, if any part of you knows that you're trying to build something that's just not your thing to build, and deep down, it's not even that you just don't care about it. Deep down, it is actually costing you your life, and you can feel it piece by piece, and you know that on any level. Wake up, turn away, turn the other way. Realize that when you look over here, you see the fact that supernaturally it's already done. You're already that person who gets to shop as though you're running the thing, and now you can just open your mouth and start pouring forth from there. And start believing and choosing that the outcomes that you've been holding at arm's length, that's on you. Whether or not there was, ignorance to it, well, take ownership for it, because it's going to free you. Yeah, the outcomes that you've been holding at arm's length, they're not over there because you have to go and jump through all these hoops of trying to be a serious or a next level or a high level or an anything kind of a person. The only reason those outcomes are at arm's length is because you put them there and you decided that I'm allowed to be fully, relaxedly, rawly, really, unapologetically who I came here to be, only after I jump through all the hoops of who I'm not. Why? Let's call it out for what it is. It's not true. Yes, it's oftentimes how success is taught. It's pretty much the construct that most of us have grown up in some way. Well, what it is it's the world's approach. It's not God's approach. It's not the supernatural way. It's not the way that's available for those of us who actually understand that we get to be supernaturally equipped, and that all we have to do is just show up and let it come through us. And it's all just decision and choice. It's all just belief system. It's a belief system that I'm worthy of walking into such and such room, or putting my work out there in such and such way only once I've done these things, or only if my social media or my online presence looks such and such way. That's a belief system. I've been doing this thing online for 17 plus years now. I've seen every different wave or trend or whatever come through in that time. And people were successful during all the different seasons or trends. And it's not because they met the trends. It's because the people who are going to be successful are going to be successful regardless. And meanwhile, the trends and the fashions and the whatever's required changes all the time. But the thing that stays at the top consistently, boom, it's the person who knows that she or he should be at the top. And that's not egotistical, it's just how it is. And that person shows up as though they already know that that's true. And so they may or may not use whatever different things are available, like trending or current platforms or filters or whatever the thing is. They may or may not. They'll use it if they feel like it. They don't if they don't. But either way, they're here because they decided to see themselves as being here. Do you get it? So you got to really understand that business to the next level. Drop the idea that it's about building something, because typically when you're thinking about, I've got to build my business, I've got to scale, I've got to get to here, reach there, make that much, achieve this, do this thing, put this in place, grow this thing like that. If only my engagement were different, if only this were different, if only this were improved, if only that wasn't a mess behind the scenes that nobody knows about, if only I had a different team, if only this, if only that, then I'm going to finally be able to just wake up every day, chill and be me and truly flow with how I want to let stuff out there into the world and actually honor my creativity rather than honor the idea of everyone else's marketing rules, because that's what you're worshipping, right? And so honor, worship God first and foremost, and your creativity and who you actually are as a person, your identity and who you were blueprinted and coded to be will naturally come through and be honored in that, in what it should be. So just put all that aside, put it all aside, and just start now showing up from that place of, I trust that what I've been shown is supernaturally already done. And so therefore, why on earth would I be trying to build it? Stop trying to build, stop trying to build, stop trying to build, stop trying to get somewhere, because you'll continue to remain in a place of needing to build or needing to get somewhere and thinking that that's what you need, and it's not what you need. Instead, what do you got to do? You just got to look at what is the next breadcrumb that is in front of you. What is the thing that's pulling through you? What is the thing that you're being shown? What is lighting you up on the inside on that spirit level? What is awakening you? What do you just feel that people need to hear today? What do you think would be cool or interesting? And you know what? What is the list of stuff that you do want done and complete in a physical, sensitive business, but frankly, you don't want to have to attend to it and you don't think you should? Because I'll show you a way that it just happens. And I've been doing that for years with myself and my clients. And I'm not making that up. And I'll show you a way that it just occurs. And you don't even know how that happened. And it occurred because of you following supernatural and spiritual principles that result in things being physically manifested that should be. So this is the manifestation side from a true godly supernatural perspective. This is understanding spiritual and supernatural law. This is realizing that because you live in a physical realm doesn't mean that's the only way that you operate. That's one little part of it. And this is also the fact that you need to make a decision to now start to be the person who you think you have to do all this stuff in order to be, because that makes no freaking sense at all. It's completely idiotic. It's mathematically just inept. Makes no sense at all. No sense. Okay? So short version is, what is the breadcrumb in front of you? You keep following that, pick that up, go where you are led. Disregard and just put aside and actually go as far as rebuking, because it's spirit, the idea that means that you're not being responsible or that you're not doing what you should. What should you do? What should you do? What is the world telling you should do? What are fears inside of you telling you should do that you're giving, space in there, allowing, entertaining, being a home to? What should you do? Should you give your life to keep doing things, picking up things that were never yours to need to try and take charge of or concern yourself with? Should you? Is that what you should do? Should you just keep pursuing and ticking off every different thing that the world tells you to do? Whether it's the world at large or the world that's fighting it out inside of your head or the world of a particular industry or people group or a world you grew up in? Should you? Is that what you should do? And then maybe once you've somehow scraped and clawed and shooted your way to $1 million, then what are you going to do? You're going to suddenly roll out of bed, roar and reel and just all the way you? Really? I don't think you will. Although you could. You can always change in a heartbeat. It's never too late. God's got ya. But I think more than likely what's going to happen is, even if you clawed your way through that million, firstly, it's probably spent its way straight down into the vineyard or wherever it's gone. And secondly, you're going to be tired, man. And that passion inside of you, it's always there to be reharnessed. That's a reality. But it's also a reality that if you keep leaving till later, the idea of you just truly going all in on the raw, real, just the thing that is meant to come true you, the message, the truth, the purpose work, the calling, the thing that God has put inside of you. If you keep waiting till later, one day you're going to run out of leaders. And meanwhile, the leaders that you've been choosing right now in this moment is adding up to a whole different pathway. Do you get it? So it really truly, hey Rachel, it really truly needs to be, no, it is a lie, it is a myth, it is more than a myth, it is a lie, it is a deception, it is a lie of the devil that the big serious business, whatever it is that you know that you're meant to do, like the truly got it together thing, that it requires you to give your life or even another minute of it truly to being somebody that you're not, so that one day you're then allowed to be who you are. Makes no sense. Lie. Not the kingdom we're operating in. Worldly construct that you get to opt out of at any minute in time, and I would say now is probably the very best minute to do that. Oh, no thanks. Yes, I do understand that I've been here a while and it looked as though I truly apparently wanted to spend my whole life here and that it's my favourite place to be, but I've actually done. I'm going to be over here now. And I'm just going to start showing up like I know who I am, like I know whose I am, and like I know what I'm here to do, even though actually I don't even know. Like you don't even know all the steps, you know? You don't know the things that you're going to walk into. But you certainly know that it's not perpetuating that. So listen, the empire, the revolution, the incredible thing that you bring to life that goes out and touches the hearts of millions of people, the true work that you came here to do, and also the money that just is there. It's just there that you're going to steward that, and it's part of, you know, you walking your path of destiny. So stop freaking focusing on it all the time, because it's going to be there when you're focused where you're meant to be. It's not over there where you're focusing on it. Literal location of it is not there. The literal location of it is not there. The literal location of it is not there. Do you realize that the things that you don't yet physically have that you know are meant to be yours, that they have a location already? They already have a location. It's a supernatural location. It's not there where you keep trying to do all this stuff that you think you need to do to get there. That is like you being in the wrong freaking wardrobe. Let's go with the wardrobe again. That you're going to be the wrong freaking wardrobe in the house trying to bash your head through the wardrobe. You're not getting through the back of the wardrobe into Narnia that way. That's not how it actually works. Not how it works. Many people doing business like that day in and day out, and they're just wondering why every year they look 10 years older, when the rest of us over here just reverse aging, having a good time, letting what's inside of us out, and it all just flows and money shows up. So instead, you pick up the breadcrumb that's in front of you. You say yes to the thing that you're being shown now. You just keep going. You stop concerning yourself with how this is going to happen. Stop begging and asking and like, can I please have my destiny, while I ignore the path that I'm being shown to walk, and I go and walk this path that fear is telling me to walk. Do you understand the madness of that? The deception and the lie. You can be praying your little heart out and then refusing to follow what you're being shown to follow, and instead following what fear would have you do. And you're wondering why your prayers aren't being answered. Well, they're being answered. You got to understand what that actually means. So you need to start saying, thank you, yes, it's done, amen, this is how it is. Let me move forward on the path that I'm actually being shown. Stop concerning myself with how all these different things that nobody told me to concern myself with, except for people that I shouldn't be listening to. And just know that as you keep doing that, do you know what happens? It's happened to me too many times to count or remember. Happens to my clients day in and day out. One day you just look around. One day you just get up and you just pop your little head up and you just look around and you're like, what just happened? Just built $1 million business, multi-million-dollar empire, best-selling book, world-ranking podcast, coaching this person, walking into that room. It happens day in and day out to my clients, friends, people I know. It's the way I've coached and done business for years. Certainly not always, because I forget as much as anyone and go down that path, and then I catch myself pretty quickly because of who I am and what I teach. But still, it happens. So, no need to beat up on ourselves about it, but be honest. So if you want to do business in a different way and you just know it's time and you're just done and you truly just want to see things build and grow, but deep down inside of you, you actually understand that you shouldn't be concerning yourself with building or growing it, and that it's more about, I've got to snap something's got to snap inside of me, there's got to be a switch flick, there's got to be a different lens that I look through. I'm just going to stop looking over here, I'm just going to start looking over here, I'm going to start showing up, I'm going to tear all that down, ignore it, walk away from it, build something actually fun, and that there's outcomes that just already exist there, money, growth, the right people, the right opportunities, all of it. You must join me in the Play Life Rule Breaker Society. We're coming into the absolute final stretch. To join this, absolute final stretch. What is it? It's Wednesday evening here. So Thursday at midnight Eastern Standard Time, it's going to close. It will close. It will close. It will close. That's less than 48 hours, but the first training is happening tomorrow. Tomorrow, live training. So you want to join now. You want to join now. You're going to get your email. You're going to get your incredible prep work, pre-work to drop straight into. I'm going to add you into the group. It's at thekatrinaruthshow.com/Play Life Society. We're going to do 6 weeks together live. We have just begun. We've just begun. So now is a great time. thekatrinaruthshow.com/Play Life Society. This is an absolute heck yes, no-brainer price point, because that's how I do when I do these sort of courses. And I'm going to be doing it alongside you, showing you exactly what I'm doing right now in my business to go to that next level, because we're currently in a huge transition and allowing phase here. And so it's just the most fun, exciting thing to get into the rawness of it, like up to our elbows in, you know, blood and gore and the inner organs of our business, and just tearing stuff out and having a good time. And then what? Building something actually fun. Except we don't build it. We just freaking say yes. So thekatrinaruthshow.com/Play Life Society. If you're on Facebook, I just dropped a link over there. If you're on Instagram, I know you're just going to have to remember it. Or go watch my stories. And yeah, just don't miss out on this. Less than 48 hours. We have a powerhouse group of women in there, ready to test stuff up, ready to do something that's actually fun. And this is 6 weeks of serious business, except we're not looking through the lens of whatever it is that you thought serious business was. And the truth is, you don't really think that at all. Not in your spirit, not where it counts. And you're just done with trying to do it in any way that is not you being you. So let's go from 6 weeks, 6 weeks to go from boring and blah to cannot take my eyes off her. Let's blow up, glow up, and flow up. All right. Let me know if you came along and watched the replay later. Leave me a comment. Let me know what most spoke to you. I'd love to know. If you have any questions at all about the Play Life Society, I've had a few people where I've answered and help out on DM. Always happy to answer your question. Let me know what's going on for you. Otherwise, just go to thekatrinaruthshow.com/Play Life Society. Let that page punch you in the face the way you know you're meant to. And I will see you inside in time for our live training tomorrow. Do not forget, life is now. Press play.